This is the News 4 Rundown.
Good evening and welcome in, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 25th. I'm Jim Adley. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you tonight. Coming up, a verdict in the high-profile trial against tech giants over social media addiction. We'll discuss this case and the lasting impacts these platforms could have on you and your children. Plus, an NFL player is raising awareness about kidney disease after his own mother's health battle. Our Jumi Olabanji has his story, and there could be a travel hack to help you get through TSA in less than a minute. Our transportation reporter Adam Tuss explains how you can save yourself time at the airport. But we begin tonight with the murder trial of a D.C. woman accused of causing a crash that killed 3 men on Rock Creek Parkway. Prosecutors allege that in 2023, Nikita Walker was drunk, speeding, and trying to get away from a traffic stop when she crashed into a rideshare and killed everyone inside. For the first time now, News 4 obtained a copy of the body camera footage from the day of this crash. News 4's Paul Wagner was in court today and walks us through the video.
Good evening. Earlier this week, the jury in this case saw 3 police body-worn camera videos. One of them shows the initial traffic stop. The other 2 show the aftermath of the crash on the Rock Creek Parkway. For the last 3 years, these videos have been in the possession of the U.S. Attorney's Office and have not been seen until now. We want to warn you, they may be disturbing to some.
How's it going, guys?
It's 1:32 in the morning on March 15th, 2023.
Is there a reason we're driving like 80 miles an hour, blowing red lights?
Prosecutors say Nikita Walker is behind the wheel, and the man in the passenger seat is Donnell Thomas. He has not been charged with a crime in connection to the crash. Walker says she's trying to get home to her son.
My son is in the house by himself.
How old is your son?
He's 10.
Thomas then pours what was revealed in testimony today as liquor out of a cup before the officer notices what appears to be weed in his pocket.
Can't have weed on federal property. Thank you.
A few seconds later, the video shows Walker speeding off.
112, that vehicle just took off.
Today, testifying under a grant of immunity, Donnell Thomas, the passenger, seen here leaving court, said he was concerned with Walker's behavior that night. Thomas telling the court that he told Walker at least twice that he should take the wheel, saying they even argued over it. But Thomas told the court Walker said, "No, I got it." A short time after Walker sped off from the traffic stop, police say she slammed into a rideshare. The 3 men inside the lift, driver Mohamed Camara and passengers Jonathan Cabrera Mendez and Alvin Torres Velasquez, were all killed instantly. The body camera video from U.S. Park Police Officer Mugavero shows him arriving on the scene after the crash. That's Nikita Walker on the ground. Donnell Thomas today testified he pulled her out of the car.
She just ran from me, this one. 112. It's the woman that just ran from me, got into a crash.
The third body camera video shown to the jury came from a D.C. police officer who responded to the scene. After looking inside the car, he realized all 3 men were dead.
There's possibly 3 in this car. They all look deceased.
Prosecutors say her blood alcohol content was 0.10, or just above the legal limit. The trial resumes on Monday. At D.C. Superior Court, Paul Wagner, News 4.
Now for some of today's other top stories. Charging documents reveal the U.S. Park police officer who was shot Monday night arrested one of the 2 men charged in the shooting the day before. The suspects, who were also brothers, made their first appearance in federal court today. If convicted, they could face up to 60 years in prison. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger signed an executive order aimed at protecting election integrity in the Commonwealth. The measure requires a yearly certification of election security procedures by the Elections Department. Vote counting machines must be tested ahead of each election. Any attempt to take ineligible voters off the voter rolls must be done no later than 90 days before a primary or general election. Starting tomorrow, D.C. Water will use drones to monitor the Potomac Interceptor. Back in January, that interceptor broke and more than 240 million gallons of wastewater flowed into the river. Right now, D.C. Water is working on a 10-year, $625 million rehabilitation of the Potomac interceptor. The data collected through the drones will help with this ongoing work. And the final day of school for Prince George's County Public Schools will now be June 18th. This is to help make up for all those snow days we had this year. There will no longer be early release for students this Friday, March 27th, nor April 2nd or June 18th. They will all be full school days. In addition, April 7th through the end of the school year, every school will add 5 minutes to the instructional period. Getting through airport security right now is obviously a big concern for anyone flying, but a fast expanding program that's part of TSA PreCheck could get you to your gate in record time. Our transportation reporter Adam Tuss is working for you at Reagan National Airport tonight to explain TSA PreCheck touchless ID.
Yeah, well, how about this? Getting through the security checkpoint lines in about 30 seconds to a minute. It is happening at all of our local airports, something you might not know about. We're talking about TSA PreCheck and the touchless ID. TSA PreCheck members can now go to their airline app, sign up for touchless ID, and when you get here to the airport, you simply show the touchless ID pass on your phone, walk through the very short line, get a facial recognition scan, and off you go to the security screening area. Traveler John has been using it.
It came through and it was a face scan, which is kind of already on file anyway. And then it was faster than PreCheck. It's part of PreCheck, but it was faster.
And his thoughts on facial recognition technology? Well, he says he's not worried about it.
Not with cameras everywhere in the world now that have pictures of your face kind of everywhere we walk and people tracking with cell phone. Like, we kind of gave that up 20 years ago when we carry cell phones with us everywhere.
We timed out some of these touchless ID experiences here. Watch how fast you can actually make it from the time you enter the entrance. You go through the line here. Now you wait just a minute for the facial recognition scan, and then you go through. Some say this is all part of a changing technology landscape.
I think a lot of people aren't used to air travel, and so I think that's where they don't know to trust it because it's new, and you have to think differently, right?
Now, this program has been around since 2021, but it's recently expanded rapidly across the country, including at all 3 of our local airports. About 65 airports in total now using it. As for the standard checkpoint lines, fingers crossed, we're still doing relatively well at our airports.
Could have been worse. I expected worse.
How long did you expect to wait?
2 hours, 3 hours maybe. My stepfather just came from Florida. He said it was a long wait, so I was expecting the same thing.
Just know that if you want an extra layer of certainty when flying, you now have another option available. At Reagan National Airport, Adam Tuss, News 4.
Now, it's important to know your touchless ID only applies to flights you book after you have signed up. It does not generally work for a flight you had booked before you sign up for the service. It's really starting to look like peak bloom down at the tidal basin. But the National Park Service is saying not just yet. It could be any time now that they announce 70% of the trees have blossomed. Our Tommy McFly has more from the tidal basin tonight.
A beautiful moment on the tidal basin. Mike, I'm not letting you go back until you tell us when peak bloom will be.
Hope you brought some snacks, because I think we're going to be out here till tomorrow morning. We were so close today, but the sun didn't really come out. Temperature stayed cool, a little breezy. It'll be early tomorrow, but we'll definitely be there tomorrow morning.
All right, well, we will be here for that. I've got the pink jacket all ready. And what does the weekend look like ahead? Because it's not just about peak bloom being called.
No, it's sort of the Super Bowl day, week of the year. Saturday is not only going to be peak bloom, it's the Kite Festival on the grounds of the Washington Monument. So lots going on. If you're coming down, by all means, take Metro, take public transportation. Roads are going to be a little bit crowded with everything going on Saturday, but well worth to come down, see all the kites, walk over to Tidal Basin, see the blossoms.
If you had your own paddle boat, you could probably go Potomac to the inlet to the way over, maybe, no?
I may need to look into getting one of those, yeah. Come up from Alexandria in through Inlet Bridge, we're good.
Finding new ways to get around. Either way, no matter how you enjoy the cherry blossoms today, tomorrow, this weekend, make sure you take a moment and do it while the blossoms are bloomed before they get blown away or freeze off.
Going to be a little cool this weekend. That'll keep the blossoms on longer. But I think by the middle of next week, we're going to see some really warm temperatures that may bring those leaves out sooner than we want.
There's a metaphor in there. Enjoy it while you can, DC. With that, from the Tidal Basin, I will send it back to you.
Beautiful today, but boy, tomorrow. Tommy's rocking the pink. You're rocking the pink.
Got
you
it
guys
going
are
on.
ready.
You got it tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I got it.
I may be a day early.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
because we're thinking peak bloom is going to be tomorrow with high
Right.
temperatures that are going to reach the 70s. So if you do it tomorrow, I think you'll be
All
okay.
right.
Let's show you what's happening out there right now. You can see we are very close to peak bloom. Look at the blossoms out there right now. You can see them all on the trees. But a little bit earlier, we were talking to the National Park Service, rather, and they were saying only about 50 to 70% are out, and you have to get above 70% in order to get peak bloom. So I think that'll happen tomorrow with those warmer numbers. 56 degrees right now. A little bit of wind out there, too. We've seen the winds kick up just a little bit, so it makes it feel a little cooler, but still not a bad evening. 55 at Gaithersburg, 59 right now in Leesburg, over towards Manassas. Culpeper coming in at 61. And we did hit 61 earlier in D.C. today, so temperatures are actually above average. No rain to speak of in our area. We do have plenty of cloud cover. Those clouds continue to work their way across our area. This is part of a system that's going to work its way in and give us warmer temperatures. Look at the numbers just to the west. We're talking 70s and 80s. 82 St. Louis, 71 in Chicago. Indianapolis was 71 earlier, and that warmer air will slide our way as we make our way through the day tomorrow. And we're talking about high temperatures around 75 degrees. So let's time it out. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning, and notice these numbers. At 8, it's still fairly mild. Temperatures well above average. As we make our way through the afternoon, we get into the mid-70s here, maybe by 1 o'clock with some sunshine. Cannot rule out a shower or sprinkle, but most of us should stay on the dry side. And even tomorrow evening, if you get off work, you want to check out the tidal basin, it's still looking quite nice with temperatures in the upper 60s to around 70. That's 7 o'clock. Now, would it be nice if we could stay that warm? But that's not going to be the case. Watch the rain and thunderstorm potential overnight Thursday night into early Friday morning. Friday morning starting off, this is 6 a.m. Rain, 50s and 60s, but say goodbye to the 60s and hello to the 40s by noon with rain. So Friday is not a fantastic Friday at all. And by late in the day, here's 6 o'clock Friday evening. If you're thinking about dinner, it is raining and we've got temperatures in the 30s and 40s. That is not very nice at all out there. It does get a little bit better. Saturday, a high of 51, so it's chilly, but at least we've got plenty of sunshine. Sunday looking good if you want to get down to the cherry blossoms on Sunday. 59, sunny. Give it a couple of hours before you step out the door. 10, 11 a.m. should be okay. By the time you get Monday and Tuesday, a couple of showers there. And look at next week, most of next week, 70 degrees or better, and all of next week, above average.
Looking good. Doug, thank you. Stick around. The News 4 Rundown. We'll be right back after this short break. Emotional celebrations today outside a California courtroom after a jury found Meta and YouTube negligent in the design or operation of their social media platforms. It's the first lawsuit to take tech giants on into trial for social media addiction. NBC's Brian Chung has details.
Hey there, a landmark verdict in Los Angeles where a jury found Meta and YouTube liable and negligent for the way that they designed their apps to be addictive to specifically young teens and children, and worsening in some cases mental health issues like depression and anxiety. A jury ordering those two companies, again Meta and YouTube, to pay a total of $6 million. This could be the first, a bellwether, if you will, for the over 1,500 cases nationwide that are waiting in the wings to see what that jury in Los Angeles would do in terms of finding these types of social media companies liable. We've never seen a case like this before, and it comes just one day after in New Mexico there was a separate trial where Meta was found also liable and ordered to pay $375 million in civil penalties to families in New Mexico. Now, Meta and Google both say that they will appeal this case, and they also say that they disagree with the verdict. But again, this is just the first and the beginning of what could be a cascade of other cases that are similar around the country. Back to you.
And joining us now to discuss the ramifications of this case and social media's addictive capabilities is Dr. Ashley Maxey-Morman. She's a pediatric psychologist at Children's National. Thank you for taking time with us. We appreciate it. Some people see today's verdict as vindication. What's your response to a jury essentially finding these companies responsible for creating an addictive product?
Thank you for having me. I think this is a really important decision. It indicates a huge shift in how we're holding these giant tech companies accountable for their actions. These tech companies have systematically designed these algorithms to target the most vulnerable among us. So it's important that we hold them accountable to protect our kids.
While these companies are now ordered to pay the penalties we heard, the platforms don't change right away. So what changes do you think need to be made to make sure social media is a safer place for kids?
I think ultimately these companies are going to have to change their motivations. Right now, the social media apps are designed to keep youth engaged, and just the engagement itself has harmful effects on brain development for children all the way through adolescence and young adulthood, but also the content that these kids are exposed to and the types of content, like short form content, impacts kiddos and their mental health. So ultimately, these companies are really going to have to put kids first. And that means designing these social media apps, or really any app with technology, to support youth development rather than undermine it.
And what advice do you have specifically for parents trying to find that fine line between allowing their kids to use social media and protecting them from the dangers of it?
It's hard. Honestly, parents cannot constantly monitor their kids, and I wouldn't even advise that as a psychologist. I think what's going to be more helpful is modeling appropriate engagement with tech and screens. So that means being able to put our own phones down, being able to put our computers away and our tablets away, and show kids when it's appropriate to pay attention and attend to a task or fully participate in a conversation. In addition to that, I think parents are going to need to make sure that their kids are aware of how these apps are designed and how the algorithms are designed to keep them engaged and how that might impact them. So giving your kids the information in a developmentally appropriate way while also modeling appropriate behaviors for engagement with tech is important.
Some great insights. We really appreciate it, Dr. Ashley. Maxie Moorman, thanks so much for taking time with us. Again, we appreciate it. Well, March is National Kidney Month, and the wait for a new kidney can take years sometimes. That's something NFL veteran Colin Saunders knows all too well. The New York Jets defensive tackle was by his mother's side throughout her kidney journey. Now he's using his platform to raise awareness about kidney disease. Saunders spoke with our Jumi Olabanji about his family and receiving a major award for his activism.
Very early on, my mother used to have these bouts of really high blood pressure and hypertension and things of that nature. And it started off with a lot of the headaches and, you know, a lot of those symptoms that you kind of just pass off or you know, don't think too much of. Yeah. We thought it was, you know, the foods and the sodium and stuff like that. And we're like, okay, we're just going to eat food, less sodium and things of that nature. But then obviously, you know, the more health implications started arising and, you know, it wasn't getting fixed from just the simple fixes that we thought. And so we had to look deeper. And that's when we ended up figuring out that my mom had, you know, her kidneys were failing. She started off on dialysis, but she was on dialysis for 6 years, right in my high school and college years. And I remember that because that was right around when I started driving, and I used to have to drop her off at the dialysis facilities, and seeing her you know, obviously get through the dialysis and eventually get on that list and get that kidney, it was invigorating.
Can you talk to me about how Kennedy has changed your mom's life and the things that she's doing now to maintain her health? So who is Kennedy?
Yeah, Kennedy Monet, as she calls her. She named her kidney Kennedy Monet. She had to give her the middle name, so when it wasn't acting right, she can call it out. But yeah, Kennedy Monet is going to be turning 6. I don't even know if she's my sister. I don't know how their relationships work, but yeah, she's doing really well.
We love to hear that. So, you know, talk to me about why it was important for you to use your platform as an NFL player to raise awareness for kidney disease, and also how you got connected with the National Kidney Foundation.
Anything that I've got unfortunately or fortunately, to see firsthand, I like to pour into.
Thanks, Jimmy. Remember to wake up with the best morning news team in the DMV for more stories like this. Join Jimmy, Tony, Millette, Chuck, Melissa. Even if your mornings are busy, you can always stream free on your phone. Just scan that QR code on your screen. Come hang out with us every morning on News 4 Today. Finally tonight, Metro's celebrating its 50th anniversary this Friday. For the entire time it's been around, there has almost always been a member of the Oriolo family from Frederick, Maryland, working there. 4 generations of Oriolos have now built their careers with the transit system. Our Amy Cho has more on the legacy that's still going strong.
When it comes to finding their station in life,
I have some really great memories from growing up in Metro as a child.
The Oriolo family has always tended toward trains. Dad Richard Oriolo remembers watching his father and grandfather as they built their careers in the early days of Metro. Richard's grandfather worked on engines, and his dad laid track that still exists today.
He was a great mechanic, and I learned a lot from him as a kid. We tinkered on a lot of things together.
Richard now works in quality assurance at Metro, guided by the memory of his dad and granddad, who have both since passed.
I would love to have worked with them. I'd love for for them to have seen their grandkids work here as well.
That's right. Richard's kids, Logan and Morgan, are now also his co-workers. They're both going through the same technical skills program he did to learn the basics of engineering.
My father took care of us, showed us the right way to do everything, and now I get to take that with me onto my career now.
We're both really proud to be able to have this opportunity to continue what is a legacy pretty much.
But although trains have been in their blood for generations, Logan and Morgan did have a bit of a learning curve. Being from Frederick, Maryland, outside the city, they had never actually ridden Metro until recently.
My first time riding the train was the day before we started.
I took them on a little trip, showed them, all the different stops, the changeovers. I didn't want them to get lost on the subway system. It can be quite confusing.
They're getting the hang of it now, and Dad Richard says he couldn't be more proud.
As a parent, they mean everything to me. I just want to see them succeed and do better than myself. If my son wants to be the next Randy Clark, I don't want to hold him back.
Big dreams as the Oriolos keep the family legacy on track.
We're doing great.
Amy Cho, News 4.
Gotta love that. All in the family. Richard Oriolo, by the way, says his dad and granddad became friends with several of their Metro co-workers, and they would all go on family fishing and kayaking trips together. The family also told us they get to commute home on Metro sometimes. They spend the hour-long ride talking about what their kids learned that day in school. That's going to do it for us on the News 4 Rundown this Wednesday night. Be sure to join us right back here for News 4 at 11. For now, I'm Jim Manley. Have a great night, everybody.